Late night bites with friends? Already hard to beat. That first too hot bite of fries you couldn't wait for, followed by ice cold Pepsi. Now that hits different. Suddenly, the energy kicks back in, the night goes longer, and the laughs don't stop. Because Pepsi brings out more flavor, more fun, and more of the moment. Food deserves Pepsi. Grab a Pepsi Zero Sugar today.
I wrote a little song to remind you, Choice Hotels get you more of the experiences you value. The Cambria Hotel's got it all. A rooftop bar, have a ball. Bring a date, your squad, or even your mom. Book direct at choicehotels.com.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cruising. This is Sarah Gabrielli. And first of all, I'm excited because if you clicked on this episode, that means you like our storytelling series and you're ready for more, which is great. Even so, I'm sure you're sick of my same old spiel. The community is sharing stories about queer space. You can purchase the Lesbian Bar Chronicles anywhere books are sold or at cruisingpod.com/book, etc., etc. This time, we are at As You Are, a queer community gathering place, cafe, and bar in Washington, D.C. As You Are, sometimes called Aya, I recently learned, opened in 2022 right on Capitol Hill, kind of near Eastern Market, D.C.'s historic public market. First, you're going to hear from our bookseller that night, Lazarus from Little District Books. And last, you'll hear from one of the founders of As You Are and a longtime friend of the pod, Joe McDaniel. Let's get into it.
I'm Lazarus, Laz for short, they, he pronouns. I was actually reflecting on, to keep it brief, my gender journey. I actually used to live in Reno, Nevada, and I remember having a very quiet conversation in a bar with two close friends about how I thought I was bisexual. And then I moved to DC, and someone saw that I was excited about wearing men's shoes, and they're like, "You're so queer." And so I'm so grateful to Washington, D.C., but I also just kind of wanted to reflect on Eastern Market in particular. I've worked at Little District Books since last October, and I know from my coworkers that Aya has helped us and supported us a lot, and we constantly love being able to send people there. And so I just wanted to comment on how special Eastern Market has become to me, because it's just incredible, and I love that we're trying to keep the historical legacy of. So good job to those of us that are here. Thank you.
Hi, guys. I wrote a little something for the past couple months, and I'm going to read a little something to you, if that's okay. Cool. Cool. It's called Slow, Slow. Yeah. I try to tell my friends, but I do not try very hard. The moment is close to perfect without me needing to explain why it is. Lazily, I lift my head from the pile of us, and I look at my friends with newfound curiosity. How their eyes close listening to the music or making it. How they smile with their top teeth. How they hold their bodies without gravity in their chests. I let my eyes close. I trace my thumb against her hand. I sigh into the mattress with the full weight of everywhere I've been. The floor does not feel like it is about to give out underneath me. Tonight there is just music, the strum of the guitar, the harmony of their voices, the intermittent laughter. I stop holding myself up and I lie back against the pile of people who are ready to bear the weight of me. I try to tell my friends, but I do not try very hard. I know that they know. It is in the way they readjust to accommodate me, how they wait for me to find my words, the humble ways they let me disappear until I am ready to be found. I'm usually a horrible dancer. I joined my friend's dance piece in college for a joke, but her choreography and her intentionality gifted my body back to me. So when I moved to DC, I worked up the nerve to go line dancing for the first time alone. One humid July night with DC Rawhides at Eastern Market allowed me to find my footing and footwork in a new city. In college, my friends brought dance to me, but in DC, dance brought me my friends. I know, right? The other day, while I was very far away, I bought red boots for line dancing. This is how I stake a claim in my community, my public assertion that I'm not going anywhere. I'm moving forward, slowly but surely. I think of taking one step forward, 2 steps back, but I consider the coaster step. It is just a change in momentum. When we are not dancing, I drive my friends around DC. We listen to music or talk about theme ideas for our next party. We sing along loudly to Glee cast covers and recount our childhoods according to television milestones. The loneliest part of my week is the 18 minutes it takes to drive home alone after karaoke. I am learning that people miss me when I am not around. I offer myself the future and promise myself tomorrow all the things I still have to tell you, all the dances I still have to learn, even the meals I still have to eat. I throw a lure into the calendar and wait for something to bite. For my birthday party this year, I invite people to dress as themselves in an alternate timeline. As my friends arrive, we sing along to musicals, and I am handed a bottle of Prosecco to pop. I laugh with my mouth hanging wide open. I dance so much that my shins ache for days after. I make a speech, somewhat in jest, about how everyone is dressed according to their alternate timelines, but I know I'm in the right one. How could there be something better in another universe? My friends are all around me. I ate my own birthday cake. I did not feel embarrassed all night, not even when people were singing, and I smiled with teeth in almost every photo. This is the first birthday I can remember in which I did not cry. I try not to think about time. This is impossible to do. Instead, I try not to catastrophize about time. I nervously bite the lipstick off my lips. I tug at my hair. I switch from sitting with one foot under me to the other. Time is precious, and I do not want to waste it, so I drive to friends' houses and I keep quiet company in their living rooms. When the moment is right, I laugh long and I laugh loudly. I do not want anyone to guess about how I am feeling. I never want to be a mystery. No one will wonder if I love them or how much. I offer my heart. I offer time. I try to keep my birthday wishes to myself so that they come true. I have never been known to keep my own secrets. Here are my deepest desires. That these days are plentiful, that we always have something new to tell each other, that I always want a little bit more. Let us hold each other longer. Let me stop hiding my face. Let me be known willingly. If I sound foolish, let me be a fool. I dance despite myself. I sing out of tune. I do not practice subtlety or nonchalance. I do not rehearse. I do not perform. I feel gluttonous. Consider the 7 sins. What's one more between friends?
My name is Ash. I met my girlfriend here. So it was at a Broadway theme night. I heard her say the wrong name of a song, so obviously I had to be like, actually. And then she just wanted to impress me the rest of the night, so it's pretty cool. But yeah, it ended like any, sapphic romance would, where she made out with someone else in front of me that night. Really cool. Didn't know why I was jealous, but we ran back into each other 2 weeks later when I was on a date with someone else. And then she asked me out. So obviously the other date wasn't going well, but we've been dating for 1.5 years, and it's thanks to this place. So.
Hi, everyone. My name is Keitochi, she, her pronouns, and I am going to read you a story about my wife. Closer? Okay. Hello. The first time I noticed you was in August 2015 in that firehouse turned church on 51st Street. You wore jeans and a flannel. Your hair was shaved close in the back, and short, sandy curls spilled onto your freckled forehead. It was my second week in Philly, and I was brimming with doubt, unsure if I could find a home for my evolving faith. You introduced yourself to the congregation as the leader of the prayer team. I thought, maybe this could be a space for me. The second time I noticed you was in a cozy booth at that Cuban restaurant on Walnut Street. We sipped happy hour mojitos and talked about our families. I told you about my father, a self-proclaimed prophet, who lived across the country and whose calls I always answered. You told me about your father, an ex-gay pastor, who lived a couple hours away and with whom you had not spoken in over a year. We held each other's stories. The third time I noticed you was at that New Year's Eve party Stevie and I hosted in our Cater Street townhouse. I had just returned from visiting my family and was trying to forget how much of that visit was spent arguing with my dad. You were there in my new home, and you told me I was magical. I basked in your glow, flattered to finally be on the receiving end of an unrequited love story. I was definitely straight, after all. We drank and danced and welcomed 2016 as friends, surrounded by friends. The fourth time I noticed you was on a dark winter night when we met at that dumpling shop in Chinatown. We'd started emailing each other multiple times a day by then, supplemented by sparse text exchanges whenever you remembered to check your flip phone. I told you that I could not understand why I felt so much inner conflict when nothing was wrong. You told me that it was called personal growth. As a 26-year-old who already knew everything I needed to know about myself, I was skeptical. The fifth time I noticed you was the first Friday in May when I sped across Center City to meet you at the Spruce Street Harbor pop-up beer garden. That evening, you had plans and I had plans, but I wanted to see you. I arrived in time to spend 5 minutes with you before I had to turn around and cycle home. You were illuminated by sunshine, and I wondered what your freckles would look like as we progressed from spring to summer. On my way home, I reminded myself that I had liked boys since the age of 8. The sixth time I noticed you was that Saturday afternoon outside Kim's South Street apartment, where we rendezvoused before heading to a Nigerian restaurant in North Philly. You were wearing those hideous green neon athletic shorts that cheerily reflected the sun. For the first time, I felt awkward talking to you. I blame the shorts. The seventh time I noticed you was when we laid in the grass under a tree on a warm spring evening, and I realized you were the most generously loving person I knew. The eighth time I noticed you was when you sat on my bedroom floor and I serenaded you with Ingrid Michaelson love songs on my guitar. The ninth time I noticed you was when you sang Sexual Healing at the top of your lungs as we biked around Philly. I wanted to be stern, but instead I laughed and laughed. The 10th time I noticed you was at Overcast Sunday when we were waiting for the bus and learned about the Pulse nightclub shooting. When we went to a vigil at City Hall the next day, I knew that I was there as more than an ally. I don't remember if I took your hand or if you took mine. You spent the night in my bed. The next day, a bright Tuesday in June, you provided a smorgasbord of options of what we could be going forward, including platonic friends. You asked me what I wanted. You asked me what I wanted, and all of my frenetic uncertainty about me and my family and my faith melted away. The first time I noticed that I loved you, I answered without hesitation. I want you. Thank you.
Starting or growing your own business can be intimidating and lonely at times. Your to-do list may feel endless with new tasks, and lists can easily begin to overrun your life. So finding the right tool that not only helps you out, but simplifies everything as a built-in business partner can be a game changer. For millions of businesses, that tool is Shopify. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the US. From household names like Gymshark, Rare Beauty, and Heinz, to brands just getting started. Shopify has hundreds of ready-to-use templates that can help you build a beautiful online store that matches your brand style. And you can tackle all the important tasks in one place, from inventory to payments to analytics and more. No need to save multiple websites or try to figure out what platform is hosting the tool that you need. And if people haven't heard about your brand, you can get the word out like you have a marketing team behind you, with easy-to-run email and social media campaigns to reach customers wherever they're scrolling or strolling. Start your business today with the industry's best business partner, Shopify, and start hearing. Sign up for your $1 per month trial today at shopify.com/realm. Go to shopify.com/realm. That's shopify.com/realm.
The perfect lunch combo. That first bite of your favorite sub, followed by ice-cold Pepsi. Add a couple of friends, and now that's next level. Suddenly, the laughs get louder, the stories keep flowing, and the food tastes better. Because Pepsi brings out more flavor, more fun, and more of the moment. Food deserves Pepsi. Grab a Pepsi Zero Sugar today.
Amazon Health AI presents Painful Thoughts.
Why did I search the internet for answers to my cold sore problem? Now I'm stuck down a rabbit hole filled with images of alarmingly graphic sores in various stages of ooze. I can clear my search history, but I can never unsee that.
Don't go down the rabbit hole. Amazon Health AI gets you the right care, fast. Healthcare just got less painful.
Choice Hotels get you more of what you value. Comfort Inn, it's calling your name. Save on the stay. Oh, and free waffles are yours to claim. Book direct at choicehotels.com.
Hi, I'm Catherine, she, they pronouns. The last time I texted Nora, which is not their name, was on their birthday 2 years ago. I wished them a happy birthday. I said that I missed them and that I really hoped they were doing well. I haven't heard from them since. This silence has been a stark contrast to what our phones looked like for the 4 years before that. We met virtually at the height of the pandemic when we were both taking on leadership roles in running communities that were then virtual and are now back to being in person. And it was like the stars aligned for our friendship. Nora is a witty, smart, charismatic Capricorn. And even though they live deep in the Midwest and I live here, we just instantly hit it off. We were coming into our own, and what started as like small running projects for these little community groups we had in our respective cities turned into like constant texts about our days, to FaceTime dates, to like voice memos in between when we couldn't like synchronize our calendars properly. Being close to them felt like standing in the sun. They were magnetic, and their friendship was the most validating and vulnerable and loving experience that you can get only in a queer friendship in my experience. We started taking trips to go see each other for the big moments in life, and also for little moments that didn't matter at all. We just missed each other. We got multiple matching tattoos. And all of a sudden that stopped with a disaster camping trip in 2024. So 2 years ago, Nora wanted to take several of us to northern Minnesota in a tiny town called Grand Marais, which is on the north side of Lake Superior. It's about 20 minutes outside of the Canadian border. It was going to be me and Nora and two of Nora's friends that they had met like 3-ish months ago. And one of them was actually a newly out lesbian that Nora had a crush on, and this was gonna be their moment. Nora and I had had kind of like a stressful first half of the year. We hadn't been able to talk as much, but we still made plenty of time to send those voice memos. And I flew out to Minnesota and we got ready. And I felt like
none of the stress of the year mattered because we were finally together again. But once the trip started, I realized maybe this wasn't going to be what I had thought it would. At one point, we were driving in the car, and I was sitting shotgun, and we had been around some of Nora's friends as we were like getting ready for this trip, and I had heard a lot of them address them by their last name. So I did too in the car when asking to change the music or play a podcast. I think it was the Normal Gossip episode about the gay kickball league, very important. And they turned to me and they said, "Would you just stop it?" And I was so taken aback. I said, "I'm sorry, stop what?" And they said, "Don't call me that. My last name is for my sports friends. You're not one of my sports friends." And I said, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Of course, I'll call you whatever I want." But at that point, I felt super embarrassed because I was the person who had known Nora the longest, and here I was screwing things up. We got over it, but the car was really quiet after that. When we got to our campsite, things were not much better. I don't know if any of you have been to northern Minnesota, but even in the summer, it's actually kind of cold and also kind of rainy. At one point, we had to stay in our tents for a full 20 hours because it was just a torrential downpour. And then when it wasn't raining, there were these mosquitoes that, Minnesota, yes, someone in the audience is nodding. Yeah, those are actually the state bird of Minnesota. And these awful horseflies that would come and give you these like super painful bites when you weren't expecting. And all that would have been fine if things were fine with me and Nora, but even that kept taking a turn for the worse. It turns out that Nora was really particular about how they liked to camp, and even though I wasn't new to camping, I wasn't camping in the way that they liked. And while they would treat their friend and the newly out lesbian with grace and teaching them how to properly wash the pans and how they like to make fires, with me, it was constant eye rolls and loud sighs. And I felt so rejected, but I just kept telling myself, they're probably stressed. It's not a big deal. They're probably stressed. It's not a big deal. And then one day I went to go make myself a sandwich, and I went to go grab some cheese, and Nora snapped at me again and said, "I told you that was the cheese for the special breakfast I'm gonna make on our way out. Could you just not?" And I said, once again, I'm really sorry. I'll put it away. At this point, we're about 2/3 of the way in the trip. I had like a sad bread sandwich with shredded cheese, just for context. We're about 2/3 of the way through the trip, and we decide to take a drive to a nearby waterfall. And I thought maybe this will be a chance where we can talk. I kept trying to get close to Nora as we were walking, but they were just avoiding me. And at this point, it had been almost a week of stony silence and huffs. And I finally caught them alone, and I said, "Hey, Nora, is there something I could be doing differently to make you have a better experience here?" And they sighed, and they just said, "Yeah, it's just your whole vibe is really annoying." Yeah, I was taken aback, and I just said, "Okay, well, I guess we don't have to go camping again." But at this point, things were turning. Even as we're walking back to the car, I'm trying to hold it together, but this whole time, I felt like an outsider. We have multiple matching tattoos. You've known these other people for 3 months. Even the newly out lesbian who has a girlfriend, you would think that would heartbreak Nora, but no, she's still in better with Nora than I am. I just feel like I don't belong. We get to the car, and at this point, I feel insane, and I lose it. I give my own big sigh, and the newly out lesbian says, "Is everything okay?" And I said, "No. Nora, why are you treating me like someone you hate?" And Nora gets really quiet and says, "Let's just take a deep breath." And I say, "No, I don't want to take a deep breath. You've been this way all week." We get to the campsite, I get out, I slam the door, and I say, "Fuck you," and I run away to cry. I came back and I apologized to everyone for leaving in that way and slamming the door of a car that isn't mine. And we sort of make it through dinner in a quiet way. I'm like crying silently. And after dinner and after the dishes, I turn to Nora and I say, "Listen, I'm willing to put aside my hurt. We still have 4 days together. What can I do to help you put aside your hurt so we can have a good time?" And they say, "I wish you hadn't said that. You're such a people pleaser. This is what I'm talking about." I went to go have a panic attack in the tent, and I'm not sure how we made it through those next 4 days, but we did in this like weird cordial state where we just avoided each other. We kind of talked about things, but not really. And on the last day, they dropped me off at the airport. I Venmo'd them money for the campsite and for groceries, and they gave me a curt thanks, and that was the last I heard from them. I tell this story because in my experience, we have scripts for romantic breakups where, people come over, you eat ice cream, people recognize the grief of that relationship. But I've never had a script for the grief of a friendship, especially a queer friendship like this one, where it felt almost more intimate than some of my romantic relationships, to be quite honest. I've thought a lot about that trip and what I could have done differently and maybe how things could have gone differently. But to be honest, I'm not really interested in who was right or wrong. I think it was a combination of both, right? That's how life is. But I think what hurts the most is that rejection of a friendship that was at once so validating and so loving and so affirming, to get nothing on the other side of it. And I don't know. I'm sure I'll make more of those really great, solid friendships in years to come in spaces like this. But I just wanted to share that story in case anyone else has felt that grief. Thank you.
The communists are doing the funhouse. Anybody know what that means? My period's coming. So I'm really emotional. Yeah, red, fun, get it? Feel free to steal it. I stole it from my sister. So my name's Jo. I also like Joey. I use she, her pronouns. I am like the lone cis on staff here at As You Are, and I'm one of As You Are's founders. I cried during most of your stories. Thank you very much for sharing and fucking me up that way. The first time I ever got behind a queer bar was the spring of 2005. Anyone in here of drinking age in the spring of 2005? Thank fucking God, because I was like, well, I won't tell you how old that makes me. Just kidding, I'll be 45 in August. Thank you very much. Anti-racism, it's good for the skin. Yeah, I have children now in their early 20s, so my experience is colored by a lot of different things in our community. I will say, 20 plus years as the queer chick behind the stick has given me the most amazing seats to a pretty constantly shifting community. It's the honor of my life that I've gotten to participate from the hidden and sometimes forgotten space behind the bar. The change has been pretty incredible to watch. At my first Liquid Ladies, which was Saturday nights at Apex, it was the girls' night at Apex, thank you for anyone who remembers, we were throwing a party, and these two toxic girls who were regulars, one pushed the other one into a mirror to make out. Hot. Like the mirrors were the walls. The whole place was black, shiny paint and mirrored walls. And as that was happening, this young person, we were 18 and up, was walking up the stairs and watched this happen, and the look on their faces one I'll never forget, because they were like, holy shit, you can do that? And I remember watching them throughout the night just being like, whoa, this is awesome. And I just thought, I'm really proud to be a part of something that provides that, right? So fast forward 2 decades and some seriously epic gray hairs, and my wife, couldn't have one of those back in 2005, just saying. My wife and I are sitting outside observing the mating habits of the younger generation. And we hear, do you come here often? Classic, right? For the time, always classic. The same duo a few minutes later say, well, if you don't mind me asking, what meds are you on? I'm so fucking proud, truly. That we've moved out, we've moved away from hiding anything. It used to be what's your sign meant what's your family trauma, and now they're no, just list the meds, let's go. Extended release, me too. And so we're hiding from nothing anymore, and I just think that is so amazing. My wife, Coach, and I are honored to have our story, the story of this place, memorialized in the pages of this incredible book. Our history reminds us of how far we have come, even with further to go. As anyone who's been here when I'm hosting karaoke will know, I often say, our joy is a revolution, and they can't fucking stop us. I use the fuck word more than necessary. These dear spaces get to hold that joy, get to make space for it, provide for it. So thank y'all for the Cruising Pod, for this book, and for making those of us who are behind the bar feel a little less forgotten. Thank you to all of you for coming out tonight, for supporting this queer space, for supporting this industry, because, fun fact, you don't invite your bartender to your wedding. In 21 years of bartending, I have been to 3 weddings. One was for people here, one my wife was officiating, and one I was the bartender at. And I'm happy to play that role. I'm just saying, it's an honor to be memorialized and immortalized this way. Please give it up for the incredible hosts of tonight and this book.
Thanks for listening to Cruising. If you like this episode, please consider leaving us a 5-star review. It really helps others discover our podcast. Cruising is produced by a small but mighty team of 3 queer women, Rachel Karp, Jen McGinnity, and me, your host and editor, Sarah Gabrielli. Our theme song is by Joey Freeman. You can support us at buymeacoffee.com/cruisingpod. Follow us on social media at cruisingpod, on Substack, cruisingpod.substack.com, and at our website, www.cruisingpod.com.
I'm not giving up. I am selling the building.
The final season of FX's The Bear.
The restaurant is flooded.
Everything's either going to be okay.
No, stop!
Or not.
We are outgunned and we are outmanned, but we have each other.
FX's The Bear, the final season. All episodes now streaming on Disney+.
At ZocDoc, we know being a healthy adult is like living in a video game. Every day has side quests, taxes, laundry, birthdays, and just when you're leveling up, you have to book a doctor. The insurance portal crashes, they put you on hold, your doctor doesn't take your plan, game over. We see you, so we made booking a doctor easy. Download ZocDoc, search by specialty, insurance, and availability. Book instantly, no cheat codes required. Find a doctor you love with ZocDoc.